So let's just settle into our meditation posture, and let's just try and land. Let's bring our mind to where our bodies are. I've had quite a busy day, so my mind has been a little bit all over the place. So what I can see in my mind's eye is all the things I've done today, sort of all buzzing around in my head. So let's just try and settle. Your feet, and somebody is not muted. Coral, would you mind muting yourself? There you go. Thank you. If you're sitting at a desk and your feet are down, there you go. That's a bit better. On the ground, make sure they're in a parallel position, so not ankles crossed or anything like that. And you can have a cushion underneath your feet. And if you are sitting on your cushion in a cross-legged position, the regular cross-legged position. Maria, welcome. And maybe make sure you've got something underneath your sit bones and you're sitting on something firm. So hands are in the meditation mudra, the right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. You can imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. And somebody's above you, very gently lengthening your spine. Just imagine your crown is heading towards the ceiling. Make sure your pelvic bowl is nice and stable and straight, so both sit bones are the weight is evenly distributed on both sit bones. Not too much to one side or the other. Head is slightly tipped forward, the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Relax the jaw. Just draw our attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes. Then you can move to the back of the eye. Just relax the area at the back of the eye socket and the nose, the area around the mouth. And just bring your attention to the back of the head, the scalp. And relax the ears, temples, back of the neck, shoulders. And that area in between your scapula, your shoulder blades, upper thoracic, your throat, the chest, and the belly, and your limbs, hands and fingers, and legs, feet and toes. Let's just bring the mind to the breath. And then notice the sensation of the air as you're breathing in. It's slightly cooler than the air you're exhaling. If there's any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to have your mind run towards them or push it away if you're feeling aversion. And notice the thoughts that are arising in your mind. And try not to engage with the thoughts or start travelling off down a little road or a story. And just keep the mind on the breath. You just allow the thoughts to arise and they'll abide for a moment, but if you don't engage, they will atrophy, disappear. New thoughts will arise. To bring the mind back to the breath as we keep in mind all the people of our life. So these are loved ones, the ones who take care of us, who offer us their strength, who love us, who support us, our friends. And then we have those people who, remember, they're not really safe for us to be around. They're unkind, or they irritate us, or they've actually harmed us. So you could put them in the enemy category. And then there's the strangers, the people that we don't think about, we're indifferent to. And all these 3 different groups of people, and this is pretty much how we see the world. The ones we like, the ones we don't like, and the ones we don't care about. Interestingly, though, you may have experienced this in your own life. At any time, without warning sometimes, these 3 categories of people can change places. Because we're in samsara and things aren't stable. They're also all the same, these 3 groups of people, in their wish to be happy, just like us. They wish to not suffer, just like us, and with this unbelievable capacity for enlightenment. This precious mind that we all have deep within us, for goodness and wisdom. So I think we're going to do this meditation tonight for all the people of our life, and by extension all sentient beings, and think particularly of the people in Europe right now, Ukraine, Russia. We're going through some very, very difficult times. So just keep them in our hearts as we do this practice. So the first of the 4 opponent powers is the power of regret. And sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, or in all past lives. The reason we regret is based on the logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And given that we understand fully what suffering is all about, how uncomfortable it is, how difficult it is, we don't really want to invite any more of this into our lives. So logically, therefore, we want to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, and because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then regret the delusions, our anger, our attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think, I'm sick of suffering again. And what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we have refuge in reliance. We're relying upon the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. We're healing ourselves and protecting ourselves by relying upon his methods. So just imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can imagine this is your Lama, your Guru, your teacher, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light. He's sitting and cross-legged on a white lotus. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all the people of your life. He has no judgment towards you, just accepts you exactly where you are, meets you where you're at. This is sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. He's wearing the 5-pointed crown, embedded with jewels, and he's wearing necklaces and armlets and bracelets and jewelry around his waist, like a golden belt with jewels. He's wearing bracelets around his ankles, And he's wearing these silken celestial robes. They're just floating around well, they're light, so they're just floating in the Royal Indian style. He has an aura around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we come to this little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So just think of someone that maybe you've harmed recently. You just develop in your heart a wish for them to be free from suffering. You can think of the same of the people who have harmed you. You have compassion for them, because the harm that they've caused you will bring them suffering in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So here we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, the practice of purification with the mantra recitation. So, first of all is the purification of the body. So imagine Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a very forceful hose, or a waterfall, or a very strong shower. And it comes from his heart, it arcs around, it enters your crown, pours into you through and fills your entire body completely, and it keeps pouring into you and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrapawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is a purification of the speech, and Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown quite forcefully, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So it's being pushed out quite strongly. As I've been saying, Lama Rinpoche says, it's almost as if a hat is being, that kind of power, as if a hat's been blown off your head by the wind. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sudam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of laser light, this time from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and you switch on a light. That light dispels the darkness, doesn't it? This is the same here. It's the moment the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is instantly dispelled. So all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression and anxiety and bitterness, jealousy, grudges, disappointment, wishing to harm, revenge, all of this instantly dispelled by the light. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibelwa Sutokaya Mibelwa Supokaya Mibelwa Hanarakta Mibelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibelwa Sutokaya Mibelwa Supokaya Mibelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of your own suffering, all of our suffering, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So as we've been doing, you can do the visualizations of the body and the speech and the mind, visualizing nectar and light, and you can perhaps do a couple of mantras for each visualization. Or if that's a little bit too complicated or busy for you, you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely. And as it fills you, it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Hanarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sudam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is a power of resolve. And this is the most crucial step in this purification process, is the decision that we make to not harm or to refrain from harming. But because we're human and we have habits, and we've been doing these habits for not only this lifetime, but probably many others, and we probably have the karma to be around people who have similar kinds of habits to us, it takes a while to get to the bottom of these and to eradicate them. So first of all, just rejoice in the efforts that you've been making over the past 12 months, as long as we've been doing this together now. It's more than 12 months now. And just notice what it is you've been doing. And perhaps if there's anyone out there that journals, it might be worthwhile journaling your Vajrasattva journey. And maybe you can look back and see any changes and then really rejoice and pat yourself on the back for the changes that you're making. And over time, the changes will become more and more stable till you find that the habits that you have to gossip or bite your fingernails or whatever it is you do are no longer there. So think of something that you can work on tonight and tomorrow, throughout the day, and think you're going to refrain from this thing for 5 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute, or tonight, overnight, while you're sleeping. You're not going to harm anybody, you'll be asleep. You just make a determination. It gives us courage to change. So Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown and think. My Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE calls this union oneness. Or he used to, when he was around. And next, Lama Supreme Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In the emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma, there is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty, they don't exist from their own side, and you can also think the way things are appearing to me, the way I'm perceiving them, the way I understand them, may not actually be the way they exist. Okay, so let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And think of all those people in Ukraine. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lamzo Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the three jewels, saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. And Mary, I forgot to dedicate for your auntie, Mary Lou. So Mary's auntie passed away a couple of days ago, so let's just dedicate for her precious human rebirth, or to be reborn in a pure land. Okay, lots of love, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Nice to see you there, Nim, from Perth, my hometown.
Thank